This debate that you've started and contributed to, were you expecting it to take off in this way? The reason I ask is because that initial post that you put up, the language was very strong and you were clearly very frustrated. And then there was a follow-up one that seemed to pull back slightly.
No, I wasn't pulling back, but I was qualifying what I was saying. In actual fact, on reflection about it, and this is not a retraction in any way, but I actually think that what is really required are some kind of very clear boundaries. You know, there's a big difference between a 7-year-old watching this kind of influential people doing things that are, I would say, are pornographic. You know, there's a difference between what is pornographic and what is entertainment. And I think that really, I don't think there's one parent of young boys and girls in this country that would honestly, comfortably say that they were fine with seeing their kids being exposed to that kind of thing. And there isn't a boundary for it. I mean, there are so many millions of hits on YouTube. How do you, with this barrage, how do you stop your kids being exposed to it? It is so powerful, you know. And I'm sure that I talk for millions of parents. I'm sorry, I don't think I'm all for freedom of expression, totally. I'm all for boundary pushing, but this is clearly one step beyond, and it's into the realm of porn. And I don't think that's appropriate. These guys have got young fan bases, and you know they are being barraged with it.
Do you feel that the industry at the moment is particularly targeting young children with this?
Well, they're looking to make money. I mean, the artists are looking to make money. The industry is looking to make money. The broadcasters are looking to make money. They have no concern about the boundaries. Clearly, if they did, we wouldn't be able to see it. And I think this debate is about getting the voice of reason back there to say, look, we want to protect our kids. You know, obviously, there's nothing wrong with sexuality and sensuality. And I think that these artists are beautiful. And in many ways, what they do is fantastic. But it needs to be appropriate, needs to be age appropriate, and there does need to be a boundary about that. And I'm a liberal-minded person, and I'm not frightened to speak out and say, hang on a minute, this is negative, this is not helpful. You don't want to see your 7-year-old girls twerking all over the place. That's not right. That's not age appropriate. In my time, I have been a boundary pusher. I commend pushing boundaries when there are important things to be said, but this is pushing the boundary into pornography, and that's a very different thing.
I know you're fired up about this. Have you got any thoughts what we can actually do? I mean, if society as a whole is exercised about what can we do?
Well, you know, the first thing always comes with dialogue, and it's starting to happen. You know, there's a lot of focus on the artists, so they're getting a lot of attention, but there's less focus on what can be done, and this is really what we need to work on. How do we distract the focus away from the actual sort of kind of pornographic content itself and talk about what's really adult and what's really important for our generations and for our grandkids? You know, where is society going? It's heading in such a dark place, and if we don't have the dialogue, if we don't have the people that are prepared to stand up and talk about it and say, come on, we need a boundary about this, enough people to back it up, you know, it'll just keep being eroded like this. And I have to say, I have nothing against these artists. I was never bashing them. Those were titles that were put in tabloid newspapers to help to sell them. I was very, very, how can I say, measured in the way that I wrote my blogs, and I am very measured about these things. I think I'm coming from a really sort of sensible place. And again, I have to say that I have been a boundary pusher in my time, and there's nothing wrong with sexuality or pushing boundaries, but we just have to protect very young kids. They are vulnerable.